Father, you know the plans for me, plans to prosper and not to harm me. Father, you know, Father, you know, Father, you know. Oh, yeah. The only race that we can run is our own. I've had the opportunity to participate in a half marathon and a full marathon, and they both started in the same way. Everyone is corralled or at the beginning. The signal is given. Everyone is off, but in no time you can see the crowd break up and people fall into their own pattern at their own pace, at their own rhythm. And some finish, some don't. But whatever you do, whatever is being done, it's at your own pace. So goes the marathon, so goes life. That each and every one of us has a plan for our life. And it's up to us to understand that plan, to see that plan, to bring that plan to fruition. And no one can do it for us. Although we may have those that will come alongside of us who may start out with us, but it's up to us to complete that thing. No one can teach you to be you. No one can show you how to be you except the source from which you illuminate from. It's like there's this central hub, and we all radiate from this central hub, and we all have different inflections of rays of that ray of light. And so it's up to us to know our hue, up to us to know what spectrum we're radiating from, and up to us to allow that light to shine brilliantly through us, as it knows nothing else to do. It knows no other way to be but to shine brilliantly through us, if allowed to do so, or when allowed to do so, let me say. What am I saying? I'm saying that in order for you to be you, you must know you and the source from which you illuminate from, that you're connected to. And with all the many different things that we come into this life and attach ourselves to, it still isn't us. And it's in coming inside, which is difficult for some of us to do because we have such busy, noisy lives. Literally speaking and emotionally speaking. To quiet the noise long enough to get a glimpse of who we are. It's not always the popular decision, but it's the right decision for you. And when running your race, prepare for your race, train for your race, and run your race. No matter how fast someone else is running or what their jaunt may be as they're going along, what their pace is, it has nothing to do with you because your focus is on the horizon and completing your race. And we all complete our race at different times. We may have started out the same. And we all started out from the same source, but we will all manifest and complete differently. This rotation of this earth around, we will complete it differently. Because this for sure is not the end, nor is it the beginning. But while we're here, it's inherent in us to understand what this is all about, and not to be distracted by these things that have been set up to do just that, distract us. And aside from the systems in the world, just the system called family, how we can be so inundated with the understanding of what we see as family that it can become a burden, and that we begin to see ourselves in the grand familial sense of being. And this is a process for all of us, um, but it's a place that all of us come to, that we see ourselves outside of what has been created for us, and we stand in the truth of what we always were and always will be. When I say Father, I am speaking of a source. I am not speaking of necessarily a particular deity, if you may, but it's my way of identifying with the source from which I emanate from. That's the word, emanate from. And so I just want to encourage you today to be you, show up as you, be true to you, stay your course, no matter what anybody else is doing or saying or how they see it, stay your course. This is ringing so true in me today because I listened to a talk on today, and if I had looked at the title, I would not have listened to the talk, but I was compelled to listen, and I listened, and I'm glad that I did, because the things that I heard in this talk resonated so deeply with me about things that had unveiled to me about 6 years ago in a trip that I made to the Dominican Republic. And to hear those things that were spoken in me, that I was led to, that have lain dormant in me, just kind of just, who am I going to talk to about this, without them thinking that I'm crazy? And to hear all those things in one conversation be confirmed as truth encouraged me in my journey, that no matter what anybody else is doing or how they're doing it, to stay true to my journey, that no one's going to understand my journey, and not that they should, and I won't understand theirs. But as long as you understand that the way you're walking is the way that you sense that you're meant to walk, and you walk it authentically and truthfully and in love, that's all that is required. And that light will automatically radiate through that being. You're showing up as you, being you. The light has no choice but to manifest and radiate through you. And so, whatever that means to you today, however it comes across to you today, let it be true. And for me, I want to know who you are. And in order for me to know you, you have to know you. Um, I don't want to know King James. I don't even want to know Aristotle. I want to know you. Because those things that manifested through those beings, however they manifested, were for a purpose. Just like what manifests through you and I is for a purpose. And so although we can have colorings or agreement with those who have gone before us, there's a truth that resonates in us that is authentically ours, and that no one else possesses in the way that we do. And it's up to us to show up with that, to manifest that, to nurture that, to be one with that. And so I want to encourage you just to run your race. Run the race that's set before you. Know the race that's set before you, and run that race with patience. I can remember my mother sharing with me that she had gone to a doctor, um, and she was stating to him her position as it related to having a kidney transplant, and how the doctors had over the years suggested to her that this was the thing that she needed to do to prevent herself from having the complications of infections and things of that nature, just to have her kidney removed and to have a transplant. And my mother had a word that resonated deep with her, and she stayed with that. And no matter what they said, no matter how many infections or how ill she became because of this kidney that doctors were telling her that she needed to take out, she stayed true to what she knew. Now, most people would say, well, God gives us common sense that, if the doctors are telling you this, that this is what you need to do. Um, but I am of the faith of my mother, that that voice that speaks within me clearly, and I know it to speak through me clearly. I stay with what it speaks to me, no matter what adversity may come on the outside. And that doctor told her when she came to him, I think he's one of the last doctors that she saw, and she shared with him uh, her testimony, if you will. That doctor leaned back on his desk and said to her, "You will finish well." And within months of this meeting, my mother took her transition. And I'm sure new is her, that not only did she get a new kidney, she got a new body. And that is what she proclaimed at the end. I am ready for my new body. So I'm saying that to say that if you have a truth that resonates in you, no matter what anybody else is saying, no matter how crazy it may seem to other people, you stay with that. And that has spoken into you will see to it that the road rises to meet you as you stand in faith to what you know to be true within you. This is what it's all about, running your race, about setting the pace and keeping the pace of your race. That no matter what anybody else is saying, that you walk true to the beat of the rhythm and the sound that reverberates within your very being. This to me is what it means to run your race. So I want to encourage you again to run your race, to stay the course, and we will finish well. Because, Father, you know the plan for me. Plan to prosper and not to harm me. Father, you know. Father, you know. Father, you know. Oh, yes. Peace and love.